Today, we're talking to Stephanie, head of LIGNA, and Dominik from the European Machinery Association. Together, they lead the team behind the world's largest trade show for woodworking and furniture manufacturing.
LIGNA is the largest woodworking trade fair there is.
1,400 exhibitors, everyone dedicated to technologies.
We're digging into why showing up at LIGNA matters.
You get the attention from around the globe. So if you are now a machinery producer and you want to expand your business on a global scale, there's no better place to go than to LIGNA.
And if you think it's only for the big players, think again.
Great combination, I think, between having all market players on site, the large groups, the large manufacturers, but you also can meet startups, the young companies, up and coming. So it's really for all sizes. So there's something for everybody. So it's really the world meeting here.
All right, so today on the Wood World podcast, we've got two incredible guests, and Dominik and Stephanie are here with us today. They're joining us from Europe, and you may be wondering why. LIGNA is one of the world's biggest trade shows in this sector, and they are representing that LIGNA trade show, and they're here to share with us some insights, ideas, opportunities that are coming up, and would love to have you guys introduce yourself. Stephanie, Dominik, go ahead.
Well, thanks for the honor up front, Vadim. So I'm going to start. My name's Stephanie, and I have the pleasure to be the head of LIGNA, so headquartered in Hannover, Germany. That's where we are located, the team, the organizer of LIGNA, together with the VDMA as our co-organizer. And yeah, I'm heading the team there in Hannover.
Thanks, Vadim, for having us today. That's a great honor. My name's Dominik. I work for VDMA. It's a European Machinery Association based in Frankfurt, headquartered in Frankfurt, Germany. And we, as Steph already said, we are co-organizers of LIGNA and working together with Deutsche Messe AG for 50 years now.
Wow. This is going to be a big event because it's the 50th anniversary, like we just said. Is that right?
Definitely. Yeah. 1975, we emerged out of Hannover Messe, and since then it's been LIGNA.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. For those who may not be familiar, a lot of the audience that's on the Wood World podcast and the audience that I'm speaking to a lot of times is actually in North America. And as I go around the world talking to people about what is good and all the different things that I share with people, we in the audience, just for your context, are sharing this information to two main sectors. There's people who are directly making wood products, and it can be all the way upstream. They're planting seedlings, they're logging, they're doing forestry, and all the value streams that come off of that. The other layer of companies is the ones that I actually used to be employed by, are the people who are participating in the products, machinery, services, all the companies that enable the wood product supply chain to operate. And like I said, a lot of the people listening are in North America, but also around the globe. So I guess for those who are not familiar, Stephanie, could you share a little bit about what is LIGNA?
Well, LIGNA is the largest woodworking trade fair there is on the largest fairground in Hannover. And for the woodworking industries, woodworking and wood processing industries. And we really cover the entire value chain. So starting from the forestry technology right up to nearly the final piece of furniture. We're not displaying that, but all the machinery you need to work with, from the forestry to the end product, the secondary industry. That's what you will find at LIGNA.
It is truly the biggest show in the world when it comes to technology for woodworking and furniture manufacturing, with 1,400 exhibitors, everyone dedicated to technology. So that's quite impressive, and I think there's nothing alike around the globe. So it's truly worth coming to Hannover again.
Thank you both for sharing a little bit. So can we go into who's attending and who's exhibiting?
And first of all, maybe to let you know, to give you an idea about the size of LIGNA, it's we do cover 10 halls and an open air site. We have 7 exhibition areas. So you need need to be well equipped with good shoes if you're running the show. The 7 exhibition areas, as I mentioned before, it just really goes from the machinery for forestry, roundwood and saw timber production. It goes onto sawmill technologies, the wood-based panel production we cover. The largest area is the tools and machinery for custom and mass production. We have a bit of a smaller part dealing with energy from wood. We have machine components and automation technology. Yeah, that's the 7 exhibition areas. Surface technology, I forgot. That's a very large area. Again, 10 halls, and you will find all of that there. We have some pavilions, 2 pavilions actually in 2025, with interesting things for the audience of the forestry and forest owners. Dedicated to that. We have 3 stages actually, but maybe we come to that a bit later.
Wow. So just for for the audience, maybe if you haven't heard of LIGNA or we're not there, these guys are not exaggerating. I went there and you have to go fast because there's so much to see and so much to do when you get to LIGNA. Dominik, please chip in.
Yeah, it's about 110 or 120,000 square meters net. So that's quite a huge number. And visitor-wise, we have people from around the globe coming from sawmilling industry, wood-based panel industry, and all which is related to that energy pellet. And then further, it's then furniture production, it's wooden elements, doors, windows, flooring producers, and of course, the big trend, mass timber, wooden housing construction, and going down to the crafts industry, which is more or less than a more regional or national or Central European topic, because, a carpenter from the US will probably not come to LIGNA, or he will make a big investment, and then for sure he should come. But otherwise, people from around the globe come, and we have a huge attention. At least we had in the past couple of editions from the US and from Canada, from overseas. So it is truly a global fair, not only exhibitor-wise, but also visitor-wise. Yeah.
So actually, roughly about 60% come from outside of Germany. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. I'd like to kind of follow up with you and try to understand what makes LIGNA unique or special, because when I go to different events in this industry, a lot of times, yes, you have some exhibitor stands, and then you have people who attend, and it's very usually focused on, I was just a keynote speaker at the Olympic Logging Conference or others where it's very focused, whereas LIGNA has a lot of things that are making it very unique. Can you share about those? What makes LIGNA as an event very unique from others that people may be going to around the world?
Well, I think first of all, what I said before, that it really covers the entire value chain. So really from the forest to the product. And I think what is also really unique from what I saw within the last couple of decades maybe is you have running machines. I mean, it's not only exhibits that stand there and are, just to look at. There's something going on. I mean, the machines are running, they're fully running, they're producing in the halls. You hear it, it's loud, and you can touch it, you can feel it. It really addresses all senses. It's not only exhibits to look at. That's what it makes it really unique. I mean, it's really a lot of machinery. Our exhibitors do bring their machinery, and we have very large stands with running tools and machinery on site. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, I was just going to comment on Stephanie saying that the equipment is running. That was one of the things that absolutely blew me away. When I was first or second time, or even I've been there 3 times so far, every 2 years. But one of the original things that kind of blew my mind was after going to exhibits where people hand out mostly brochures and point to a TV, walking into one of these halls is some trade shows are the size of half of one of their halls, and you've got so many halls going on. But I remember entering a hall and you can see an entire production line. And what I remember, it felt like in the beginning is like plywood or the panels, and then at the end you're really getting some kind of all through all the processes is showing how the product comes together. So it's absolutely incredible about the scale of what people can come to see and experience at Dominik.
Yeah, just to add that, for instance, the company Hallmark, they really produce furniture, they produce cabinets, and then at the end of the show they donate it then to institutions, to schools and so whatever who need then this furniture, and that's pretty great. And as a visitor, you, from my perspective, you don't have any other possibility around the world to really compare machinery in such a detail. So if you want to buy an edge bender, you can compare 25 different edge bending machines from 25 different companies on one side. So it really makes it very efficient as a visitor to come to the show for 2 days, and then you can really make a proper decision when it comes to your investment plan. And at other shows, it's partly difficult to do that because only 1 or 2 companies maybe display really machinery, and here you have the full range from around the globe. So it's not just German machinery, it's machinery from Italy, China, Taiwan, Spain, US, Canada.
It's also a great combination, I think, between having all market players on site, the large groups, the large manufacturers, but you also can meet startups, so young companies, up and coming. So it's really for all sizes. I mean, as well from the exhibitor side, all sizes, and it addresses to everybody, like, every scale you need in your daily woodworking business. You can find at LIGNA. So there's something for everybody there.
As you are preparing, and you now had so many conversations with the different companies that are going to participate, I'd love for you both to share what can people expect in 2025, the different topics that are going to be covered, and the different types of, what's unique at LIGNA where people can learn, engage, and get deeper information about their specific sector or factor or wherever they're operating in the, what I call, the wood world. And then maybe you've heard of some trends that we can get into as far as what you're seeing and what we're going to be able to see and experience in LIGNA 2020.
It's a very well-structured exhibition area in those different exhibition areas that I mentioned up front. So it's very clear where to find things when you come and come from the visitor side. And I think it's a great combination between the exhibits of our companies. Obviously, that's the largest and most important parts. Our exhibitors play the most important role. But we also offer various formats for knowledge transfer. So you mentioned it up front, Vadim. There are conferences around the world. We have 3 stages, and we address them to certain target groups. And we have, for example, 1 stage in the open air side in our new format truck stop area that especially addresses the carpenters and joiners trades. And we have another stage in our Hall 12 that addresses mostly the industry party ones. And it's really going alongside our focus topics. In LIGNA, we always work with focus topics well before LIGNA actually takes place. And we discuss those well up front with our exhibiting companies beforehand. So this year, it's the topic of connectivity. So everything we're talking about, automation, digitization, obviously, that has been a large topic also in the previous editions. And we go with engineered wood and sustainability in production. So those 3 topics discussed before and with our exhibitors, they're being filled with life, not only by the exhibits, but also on our stages with lectures and interviews and best case practices that are being brought on stage. So that's something that adds up to the exhibition part.
The biggest trend in our industry is definitely that everybody faces more or less labor quality, labor problems with employees. So number of employees, finding employees, and the quality of people working in the industry. That's the biggest issue of everyone in the wood and furniture industry. So, and this is the mega trend of our industry, and the machinery producers more or less and software technology producers try to address this with automation solutions. So this is probably the most or the biggest focus of the industry. And it was always the technology driver during the past couple of years. So it's bringing down the cost, it's bringing up the quality, and this hasn't changed more or less during the last 20 years. So it has evolved, and we used to call it Industry 4.0 a couple of years ago. It was the trend to digitize the entire process, the entire value chain. And I think we are making good progress, all the machinery producers, together with the customers, developing these products and bringing them to the market. And now we have this big topic, AI, coming up. So it's not coming up; it is in the market already with a couple of applications already in the industry. And I think that a lot of exhibitors will focus on these topics. So to streamline production, make it more efficient, optimize the production, and support the guy at the machine, that he can handle the machine in a proper way and having a smooth production, more or less, with a good quality product at the end. So this is something that is focused by more or less all machinery exhibitors at LIGNA.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of what I'm hearing as well. As I travel again to different states and countries, I'm hearing this for the last several years, workforce challenges. And, very closely related to it is also maybe the negative perception of the public on our industry. When people think about wood products, especially upstream in the very beginning, they think, oh, wow, these guys are deforesting the world, which isn't true. But there's negative perceptions that then lead to, I say, maybe even next to various, they're contributing to the workforce challenges. And so it's very interesting that there's so much technology and innovation in the sector that I wish that people can see and experience that, wow, this is an industry that's very progressing, and it truly is. I mean, I've been in it and around it for over a decade at this point, and love what I'm seeing, love the direction. So thank you for sharing those as the trends. Are there any other trends that you want to point out?
I just wanted to add a couple of things that what you said. So looking at younger people, that they're maybe not attracted to our industry, that maybe they should visit a little bit more a high-end, state-of-the-art furniture productions, for instance. So if you look at, for instance, at a huge kitchen cabinet manufacturing today, it's nothing else than automotive production from a technology level and from organizational level and from an intralogistic level. So that's quite impressive to see. And if we could manage to bring that more into public, that would be great. So then the industry would probably also be a little bit more attractive for younger people. So I think this is something that the entire industry has to work on, for sure. Yeah.
And I bring the more emotional side to the things, because I think this is really the best industry and the best community you can be in. I have to say that, because I just joined that 18 years ago for the trade fair business. But I think this is the greatest community I've ever met, exhibitor and visitor-wise, to be honest. I think it's a great bunch of people, and you can feel the spirit when you're inside. I mean, you've been there, Vadim. You can tell it's a great spirit when people network and interact, and the networking part of things at LIGNA is tremendously. I mean, you see it in the aisles, you see it on the booth, you see it everywhere in our events that are taking place. It's a big group of people that loves to network, and you can feel that. You could feel the buzz once you enter the fairground right away.
From my point of view, it is, and it will be a game changer in the entire construction industry. So if you look on what's happening in prefab business, mass timber industry, that's a story that hasn't ended yet. So it's just the beginning of it, and there are a lot of machinery producers which haven't been in these industries before, who are now going all into this industry and bringing it forward with their innovations, and so robotics and things like that. So that's a great trend in our industry. And I think, well, at the moment it is economically a little difficult for everyone around the globe. So, and But that's a great opportunity, not only for machinery producers, but also for the customers to focus more on these innovations that we will see definitely at LIGNA. And I think that could be a real push for our industry as a total. I'm quite confident about that.
Like the companies that are making wood products, they could be a Asano, or they could be manufacturing wooden trusses, or manufacturing something that has to do with the wood fiber directly. So they have some kind of production line, whether it's in North America or somewhere else around the globe. Can you share maybe specifically their experience at LIGNA, and what, can they be inspired by? How can they find the solutions practically as they think about, hey, they're evaluating in their mind, okay, I need to have some bottlenecks, specific pieces of equipment or types of solutions that they might be interested. How practically can LIGNA benefit these people? And maybe they're on the fence right now. Not sure if I should be spending the money. Tell them how it is. Why should they come? Why should they participate? And how can they practically find a solution that may really benefit them?
If a lumber producer from North America is thinking about investing or how we should involve his business and so on, it really makes sense to spend 2 days or something like that in Hannover at LIGNA. So he can compare his machineries, which he has now in his factory, compared to different types of machinery. He can get in touch with competitors from Europe, for instance, or from Far East, or I don't know from where. He can exchange with them at the show. And then he can see the entire value chain. So what comes after lumber, and maybe experience the business models which we have in Europe compared to North America, which are the advantages, which are the disadvantages. What would be, if I want to invest, what would be the investment costs which I have? So if you think about further processing, then afterwards, after just regularly lumber producing, does it really make sense to go into further processing? So should I start glue lamp? Should I start CLT business or whatever? So I think it is well invested money, well invested time, because you have so many touch points at the exhibition. So it's not only the exhibitors which you can talk to, but you can make matchmaking with competition and or with peers from your industry. And I think that's the great thing. So not only the machinery which is exhibited, but also the network that we more or less provide. And that makes it really worth coming over and doing the comparison, doing the benchmarking. And that's, from my point of view, this is the most beneficial thing about LIGNA, that you have all in one place, and that makes it very efficient in the end. So maybe you have to spend, I don't know, a couple of $1,000s for that, but it's really worth it from my point of view. Not just to go straight in your own mind. So open it and have a look around, and that's what LIGNA can do.
Yeah, and you're really always seeing the latest innovations there are. And even if you're not there yet, and you might not need it now at the exact time, but what you will see at LIGNA is always the latest state of the art. And, if you're looking into the future and you're trying to see where your business will develop into, or you need to see how it will be in future, I think you need to be there to see what is possible already now and what will be needed in future, to maybe, as Dominik said, to look into different business models and to fulfill what you need for that.
So there's a lot of value there. And my second question is for the other side. If a company is not yet exhibiting at LIGNA, but they manufacture core wood products manufacturers, how does LIGNA as a global event help them connect, grow, influence the industry?
You get the attention from around the globe. So if you are now a machinery producer who is just focusing on one market, let's say just focusing on the US or Canada or entire North America, and you want to expand your business on a global scale, there's no better place to go than to LIGNA. It's not only that you have the global visitors at LIGNA, you also have the global dealers at LIGNA. So I don't know how many thousand woodworking machinery dealers from around the globe we have at LIGNA. So they are all connected to somehow to a machinery producer now, and they are also looking to expand their portfolio. So they are looking for new options, for instance, in different kind of product segments. So, and this is a great opportunity. And if you want to, well, of course, we have the majority of visitors from Europe at LIGNA. So, and if you want to expand to Europe from the US, you have to be at LIGNA. So we have a couple of new big companies from North America exhibiting for the first time or for the second time at LIGNA, who are trying to focus a little bit also on the European market and gaining customers on the European market, or trying to address the high potential customers from South America or so at LIGNA, because we have, well, the large companies all come from overseas to LIGNA, so from China, from South America, wherever. And maybe they are not coming to a show in the US, but they are coming to LIGNA. So it's maybe a good opportunity also then to exhibit in Germany if you want to address a customer in South America, for instance. So it really makes sense. And you don't have to start with a 200 square meter booth. You can start you can start with 20 square meters, so 200 square foot. You can start with one of these booths too. So yeah, just give it a try, give it a shot. I'll come first as a visitor and then talk to a couple of exhibitors and then decide maybe for 2027 then again.
And maybe adding that up to what Dominik said with some figures. I mean, we do represent 50 countries exhibitor-wise. And when we're looking at the visitor base, we are representing 100 countries coming to LIGNA. Wow. So you can tell, again, there is so many stakeholders from each company coming to LIGNA. So we're not only addressing people coming from sales or the management. So you find management, you find technology people, like R&D people, you find the marketing there, sales, all the stakeholders, as Dominik said, the dealer side. We have a lot of staff coming from the companies from overseas. I mean, if a company headquartered in Europe is taking part in LIGNA, you always have the staff from overseas here as well. So it's really the world meeting here. I mean, if we're talking about a Homac or a Weinig, we all have the US staff over here addressing to the people's needs coming from overseas.
I just saw online once, Vadim, on your blog, I think, or was it on LinkedIn? I'm not quite sure anymore. There was posted a very, very simple question. If I come from the US to LIGNA, are they able to speak English with me? Yeah, everyone has his English, has his US staff there, so it shouldn't be a problem in the end. Yeah. So it's the same more or less for almost every language around the globe.
And as you can tell, we're German as well, so we're able to speak English somehow.
Yes.
You won't find anybody on the fairground who can't address you in your language, so that's a good thing as well. I mean, even if you come over here traveling to Germany, it's really easy. You will find it is very easy for everybody to find your way around. Everything is, also translated in English, especially in a trade fair city like Hannover. I mean, you arrive at the airport, you arrive at the trade station, and you'll be greeted in English. You'll see signs that are, explained in English. So there's not going to be any problem.
Yeah,
totally.
Maybe coming back again once to what makes LIGNA unique, or what are the opportunities besides the fairground actually. So if you try, or if you are coming via invitation from a machinery manufacturer, at least from someone in Central Europe, they are all, or a lot of them, the larger ones at least, they are organizing tech tours. So if you go 1 or 2 days to LIGNA and then you visit around the area of Hannover or in Central Germany, you visit customers So you can see, I don't know, kitchen cabinet manufacturers, sawmills, wood-based panel plants, whatever. So, and there's quite a huge industry around the area. So, I think almost 1/4 of all kitchens in entire Europe are produced in this area. So, it is a great opportunity also to see latest state-of-the-art machinery live and in action besides the fairground.
We have one more important thing. Usually we do not talk about competing trade fairs, but we have an information that might be very interesting, especially for those people coming from abroad, because there's another fair going on in Cologne right before LIGNA, which is directed more at the supplier side of things. So if you're really coming from abroad, you can cover 2 really large trade fairs in one trip, which I think is a great benefit. So you would have, 2 weeks with 2 trade fairs, the largest they are in their area, and you can cover them and you can visit them with 1 ticket. That's another plus, I think.
Absolutely. I think that if we can address the people who do plan to come, can you please share advice or tips on, and you already started going this direction, how can the attendees, people that are going to be coming from overseas, how can they maximize their time if they're coming from outside of Europe? They want to make the most impact. Maybe, like you said, they spend several days, maybe a full week there at the LIGNA trade show. And then what can they do? Can they visit industrial sites? Can they get meetings, outside of the locations? How is it they can best utilize their time to get the most impact? How do you suggest going about organizing your trip?
I mean, it would be probably the easiest if you wanted to visit Interzum before in Cologne, you can go to Interzum. You have a weekend in between. You can travel, look up some cities that are interested in, and between this, use the Saturday and Sunday for some sightseeing, which is always nice. And then on Monday, Tuesday, and the days come to LIGNA, and buy the ticket once, go to LIGNA, and you'll have the 2 trade shows. But other than that, as Dominik said, contacting the larger manufacturers up front, they do offer those technology tours, and they have a program for everybody attending. You will be able to see the kitchen manufacturers that are located around this area, and that's the world's largest manufacturing sites for kitchen, for example, are located here in the vicinity of 2 hours drive around our fairground in Hanover. So there is a lot you can do there.
Yeah, I know from 1 or 2 machinery producers that they bring the week before LIGNA, they all bring their customers from the US and from Canada to their headquarters, so they can see also the machinery productions, for instance. And then they have planned something for them, like they have an entire week or a couple of days of program for them, visiting customers, visiting best practice examples, the production sites. So I think they are taken care of more or less if you want. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, and we do have larger delegations that we're becoming aware of beforehand. We're taking care that those delegations are able to visit sites around Hanover. So we take care of that too.
Yeah, so customer associations actually are our main people to talk to, and they organize for their members tech tours also. So we always have a huge delegation from Japan. We have a couple of delegations from China, from Canada, from the US once in a while, from different associations. So also the customer associations also offer these type of service, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, there's a lot that people can experience, a lot of things that people can do, then a lot of value by going to LIGNA directly. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to learn a little bit about LIGNA. If there's anything else or last comment or last things that you'd like to share with the audience before we wrap.
I really, really recommend to come to Hanover and to join us. And if you ever want to get in touch with any machinery supplier, for instance, which you haven't had And so far, yeah, you can just contact us also directly. If you want to get any information about LIGNA, just contact us directly. We are very happy to assist, and looking forward to seeing everyone in Hannover. And if it's not 2025 for the 50th anniversary, then 2027 latest, please.
So we're really looking forward to welcome each and everyone, and hope to see a lot of people from abroad at LIGNA this time.
Thank you so much for your time. Absolutely incredible. I think you guys are doing important work bringing together all the different sectors of the wood world together in one place that's central to a lot of different companies doing and operating in the wood sector around the globe. Thank you so much for your time, Dominik and Stephanie. Thank you so much for putting the event together and spending so much time and hours preparing for it. Excited to see you in Germany.